After Iran's attacks on Israel, tensions between the U.S. and Iran escalated to an unprecedented level. The U.S. declared that if Iran attacked Israel again, it would directly declare war. In retaliation, Israel launched drone attacks on Tehran, Tabriz, and Isfahan. Iran was left with two options: attack Israel and confront the U.S., or remain silent and risk its army. After some deliberation, Iran decided to attack Israel. Immediately, Israeli territory was targeted by cruise missiles launched from Iran. Simultaneously, rockets were fired at Israel from Yemen, Gaza, and Lebanon. Under attack from four fronts, Israel requested urgent assistance from the U.S. The U.S. threatened Iran, demanding that it stop the attacks. However, Iran ignored the U.S.'s words and instructed Yemen to sink American warships in the Red Sea. The Houthis quickly moved into action, dive-bombing American warships with kamikaze drones. Some American warships were sunk in this attack by Yemeni forces, while the remaining ships retreated to the coast of Saudi Arabia. At the same time, Saudi Arabia was intercepting many of the missiles fired by Yemen towards Israel. While all this was happening, Israel retaliated against Iran again, launching guided missile attacks on Iranian warships in the Persian Gulf. Iran's defense systems failed to detect Israel's advanced missiles in the air, and the Iranian naval force in the Gulf was completely destroyed. Enraged by this, Iran used its aircraft to strike Israeli embassy buildings in Azerbaijan and Pakistan. However, this attack by Iran marked the beginning of a major war. The United Nations, led by the US and the UK, approved an invasion operation against Iran. Iran, with Russia's support, delivered a diplomatic note to the UN, stating, "We are ready for war." Immediately after Iran's declaration of war, the UK and the US mobilized to protect Israel. Iran's invasion plan was as follows: an amphibious landing would be carried out from Persian Gulf in the south of Iran, and coalition forces would rapidly advance and occupy Iran. The United Nations Army would attack Iran from the Pakistani border, and NATO forces would advance into Iran from the Turkish border. This was the US's plan against Iran. However, Turkey declared that it would never allow its territory to be used for the invasion of Iran. Despite immense pressure from the United States, Turkey did not join the Iran invasion operation. On the contrary, due to its strained relations with Israel, Turkey firmly opposed the invasion of Iran. While all this was happening, the Iranian Air Force began airstrikes on Israeli territory. Israeli defense systems could not stop the Iranian aircraft. As Iranian planes continued to bomb Israel, a UK air fleet taking off from southern Cyprus launched an air attack on Iran's capital, Tehran. Simultaneously, Israeli aircraft counterattacked, supporting the Royal Air Force fleet. Iran's air defense systems were completely helpless against the highly advanced Allied aircraft. As the bombardment continued, Iran targeted Tel Aviv with hundreds of cruise missiles fired from the city of Isfahan. Immediately after Tel Aviv was hit, the Israeli Air Force launched a second wave of attacks on Iran. In this attack, Israeli aircraft targeted Iranian nuclear facilities. While all this was happening, American warships approached the Persian Gulf from the south. Iran made a bewildering move here, attempting to sink the United Nations Navy directly with its aircraft. However, this attack by Iran was a major defeat. All Iranian aircraft that took off were shot down by Saudi Arabian air defense systems. In response to Saudi Arabia's actions, Yemen opened fire on the Saudi Arabian border. On the Pakistan-Iran border, fierce clashes continued between the two states. The American Navy, dominating the Persian Gulf, began bombing the southern Iranian coast. After intense bombardment, coalition forces launched a three-pronged attack and landed in Iran. Within 24 hours, the advance of American soldiers was halted by the Iranian army. Struggling to advance, American soldiers requested assistance from the United Arab Emirates. The United Arab Emirates approved America's request. American aircraft taking off from the airbase in Dubai launched an air attack on the defending Iranian soldiers. The United States managed to break the Iranian defense with this air attack. America's armored tanks rapidly advanced deep into Iran. However, this time Iran gathered all its strength and launched a fierce air attack on the United Nations armies. As a result of the attack, the advance of NATO forces in the region was completely halted. At the same time, America's Kurachik radar base in Turkey was hit by Iranian unmanned aerial vehicles. Turkey did not retaliate against Iran, knowing that this attack was aimed at America. Nevertheless, This unannounced attack by Iran caused a diplomatic crisis between the two states. While the war in the south continued at full speed, the rocket barrage from Iran to Israel also continued. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps attacked via Lebanon, effectively devastating northern Israel. Iranian-backed groups in Syria also attacked Israel with rockets. While all this was happening, Israel's defense system, the Iron Dome, was subjected to a cyber attack by Turkish and Iranian hackers. The hackers took control of the Iron Dome software and remotely disabled the system. As a result, the occupying state was left defenseless. Rockets launched from Lebanon, Gaza, Yemen, and Iran began to fall on Israel one after another. The occupying state was hit continuously for 2 days. Finally, America sent new defensive weapons to Israel. In Iran, the situation was improving because American forces were retreating day by day. The Iranian army then launched an offensive, pushing the United Nations forces back to the Gulf. The coalition ships had already been sunk by Iran. The biggest reason for America's rapid defeat was the tons of aid that came from Russia to Iran, as Russia was one of the countries that openly supported Iran in this war. Some U.S. ships that managed to escape were targeted by Yemen. Thus, the remaining American ships were also sunk. In response to the Houthis' actions, the Israeli Air Force attacked again, hitting Sana'a, the capital of Yemen. Yemen, in turn, launched a new rocket attack on Israel. However, air defense systems in Jordan, Arabia, and Israel easily managed to destroy the rockets launched from Yemen in the air. Israel decided to end the war by not retaliating against attacks from Iran, because if Israel continued to fight, it would be wiped off the map. Although Iran stopped attacking from its own territory, it continued to attack from southern Lebanon. The United States declared that this war was not over and that a second operation would be launched against Iran. The main target of America's second operation in the Middle East would be Turkey.